Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Libra. If Libra is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Okay, let's see. What do we have going on tonight, Libra? I hope you all are doing well. I hope, let's see, by the time you watch this, it will be Sunday, I believe. Well, by the time I put it up, I should say. You might watch it on another day. Tonight it is Friday, the end of the week. And I'm really excited about that. We've had some colder weather and it's warming up again, so I can't complain, especially because I got so many plants planted this week and flowers and vegetables, herbs. I am stoked. All right, so let's look at this card. We have the Four of Wands, and this is from the Thoth deck. And any kind of noise you're hearing in the back, oh, there she is. It's the cat. That's TT. Come on, TT. All right. So we have the Four of Wands. Go on. Okay. The Four of Wands. And this is related to completion. This is a card that's all about self-evaluation, kind of ending things or choosing to end things, deciding to go in new directions, explore different paths, and but also can be about the things that are happening prior to an ending. So getting prepared to, you know, the thing that really comes to mind right now is the end of the school year. I know a lot of people getting out of school, graduating, retiring from being teachers. So that is a big, you know, that's a big completion. Now, I don't know if in the Southern Hemisphere school is out for the winter there, or if they have their break when we're going through winter and it's summer there. So I don't know. It still boggles my mind that all of the winter festivals and things like Christmas are celebrated during the summer. I mean, you know, I'm almost 40 years old and I still am like a little bit like, oh, that's kind of sad they don't have cold weather. But you know, that's all you know. And you know, most of my life I actually grew up in a warm area, so in Northern California, where it was fairly warm during the winter. So I never had snow really or anything like that either, so I don't know what I'm really talking about. Okay, let's see. Let's get this together. It's that Friday night brain going on right now. So I want to look at the sevens. We have a 7 here, a 7 here, a 7 right here, and I thought I saw another one. Yeah, this one here. Right there. So we have quite a few 7s. And I wish I knew what that meant to you. I think it's interesting that it's such a repeating number here. And interestingly, in a reading I had a few days ago, there were a lot of 7s as well. So it must just be kind of in the air right now. And so if a 7 is important to you for some reason, if you are seeing them often, let me know. Let me know how that is relating to you. Okay, so I want to look at this one. Looks like a little ferret to me. That was the first thing I thought of. Kind of a weaselly little ferret. Slinking around, stealing things and hiding them. Pretty playful. And just, you know, I get a feeling that you are usually you have a fairly youthful kind of spirit at times, and it really comes through. You like to have fun, you like to play, maybe you play games, maybe you're really into like card games, or maybe you like to go gambling or play, I was gonna say chess. That's a fun game, I guess. I mean, for me, it's very complicated. I don't have a mind for these kinds of logic games, but, you know, I guess that could be really fun. So, but I feel like you are somebody who enjoys, these kinds of, competitive types of, arranged games and such. You might even, you know, be part of a club or a little group of friends. You get together, you play poker, you play, what in my family, pinochle. I don't even know what that is really, but I know that people played it in my family. Bridge. So, I think something like that, maybe other things, I don't know. For some reason, like wrestling, watching wrestling, getting really into that came to mind. But I think that even though you have this really kind of fun, free-spirited, within reason, you know, I think that you like order. I think this is why games are fun for you, because there's a framework, there's a system, there's, you know, techniques, there are rules. But although I think you can get really into these things, I think you also, there are times that you just feel really vulnerable. And I feel like recently, it seems that possibly that you've had words with somebody, that maybe somebody was fairly aggressive to you with their speech. I don't think that this is like a physical altercation, but I feel like maybe somebody really came at you aggressively. I don't know if this is somebody you know, or if this was kind of like a chance situation out in the world. And, you know, people sometimes just are not kind to one another. It is very, it can be very startling when you're going about your day, about your life, and you encounter somebody who is quite angry and, you know, will kind of let you know verbally. And that can make you feel pretty unsafe. I think that this situation felt a little destabilizing for you. Okay, and I want to look at this. And this one, even though it's next kind of back, it reminded me of a turtle and a snapping turtle. And usually something that seems pretty docile, kind of just going about their own business, moseying around, but can be quite vicious. I don't know if you've ever encountered a snapping turtle, but they really can go for you if you get into an area around them where they feel like you are a predator or something that's going to harm them. And they have quite a bite. I mean, they could really, maybe they could take off your finger. I don't know. But I know that it really can get you down to the bone easily. So they have quite a bite. I feel that this kind of felt like that, this snapping. And I feel like you just were not ready for it. There was no kind of, building up of, escalation. It just immediately was very aggressive. And I feel like I want to be delicate about this because I know these things are hard to think about sometimes, but I do feel that this is a situation that kind of brings up feelings that maybe is kind of triggering. I want to look at this right here, and it looks like a cow's head, like a skull with these, the horns kind of. And so I feel like this is maybe somebody who has passed. I feel like it is a masculine person. It feels like a father maybe. And I think that this is kind of these feelings that came up when somebody really snapped at you or said something hurtful to you, was aggressive towards you or around you. I think it brings up feelings of kind of like terror, helplessness. And I feel like this really is related to having a father that got angry. Maybe was not physically abusive, but I know people say, well, it wasn't physical. That doesn't mean that it wasn't terrible, right? The verbal abuse, the screaming, the yelling, the belittling, name calling, threatening, these kinds of things stay with you forever. So I feel that this is something that can be very triggering for you. I think that you go about your life in such a way where you really avoid conflict. You have a tendency, I'm going to grab this. You have a tendency, just trying to get my pen over here. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to hide it from the cat so she doesn't spend this whole time trying to get it. Okay, so I think you have a tendency to kind of avoid the conflict. You will really just go out of your way to not be around people who have this kind of loudness or it's not loudness, but just like that angry, that rage, that quick to become very kind of unhinged. It just really is too much for you, right? You just have no tolerance for it. And I think that you have that self-awareness enough to avoid it. I think that you also have worked deeply to avoid becoming somebody that has these same kind of behaviors. And also to break the cycle of finding yourself maybe in a relationship or kind of enabling people in your life to behave this way. I think, of course, it makes sense that we often end up with partners or with home dynamics, maybe even work dynamics that mimic our upbringing. And those kind of key central role models that we have, our parents, our grandparents, our extended family, siblings, neighbors, teachers. So we kind of knowingly or unknowingly set our life up in such a way with the same kinds of people until we decide to process some of that stuff, work on being conscious about not allowing those kinds of energies into our life. setting boundaries, you know, finding alternative ways to get that negative energy out of us, our reactions, coping mechanisms, all these kinds of things. And I think that you've been very, very mindful about this and very careful, you know, just about what you allow in. And, you know, that's very commendable. That is not easy. It's not easy. So, I feel like, and I want to look at this one. We have a camel, and it's kind of resting, in a resting position, but it does have kind of these things on its back, but it's taking its time. It's, you know, these are animals that are used for pack animals often. And so I feel like it's kind of this idea of carrying the whole world and the stressors on your back. Well, I think that you have been good to yourself because you realized that this was something that really affected you. This was really difficult. This was very triggering. This was emotional, hurtful. And even if it was like a miscommunication, it doesn't matter. You were feeling the way that you do, you know, no matter what the intention was, if it was miscommunication, if it's just their style of communication, whatever, it made you feel bad, and it maybe made you feel unsafe. And so no matter what, you know, where this is coming from, these are things that you have to deal with, and that can be overwhelming. It can be very tiring. It can be something that really is distracting to your life. And you know, on the deeper side of the spectrum there, it can be destabilizing, you know, and kind of sometimes send us down a bit of a rabbit hole, or, well, not a rabbit hole, but like spiraling, right, emotionally. And we all have our things in life that do this, you know. And so I think that with this camel who is kind of carrying everything on their back for the, you know, everybody around them, the person that really is the strong one, which I feel like you often are, I think that it's a good idea to take that break, to find something for yourself to enjoy, to, you know, something to work on, some kind of thing to hobby, pleasurable thing, some kind of play. You like to play cards or whatever it is that you, whatever kind of game you like to do, maybe video games. It's okay to kind of pull ourselves out of these traumatic moments by distracting ourselves in ways that can be kind of sensory changing. They change, you know, the way our body is reacting. I forget what they're called, but I think it was in DBT or CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. I think I learned about it, but it's like you distract when you're getting into these modes of anxiety, or you know, where you're kind of shutting down, your feelings are becoming big and overwhelming. It's okay to find, you know, put on a TV show that sounds good, put on music that sounds good, go for a walk, you know, try some kinds of stimming. If you don't know what stimming is, go look it up on Google or wherever you use or whatever, but some browser. Go look it up, and there are a lot of techniques. They're useful for everybody. You know, you don't have to have, you know, for me it's ADHD and PTSD, and that's why I have learned about them, for my own, you know, self-management. But these are, you know, things, and we all know about like the fidget spinner, those little pop things that you click them back and forth. These are stimming tools, but there are a lot of other ways to stim. Some people stim by like tapping their foot, tapping their finger, you know, fiddling with like a piece of paper, rolling. This is one I do. It's like rolling up little pieces of paper into balls and stuff. Clicking your pen constantly while you're sitting there. So anyways, there are a lot of things, and sometimes they're really useful. But other than that, you know, I think that really just having something that is distractive so that you can, you know, go about your life, let the saying kind of fade away into the rear view mirror, you know, and not let yourself get too invested in this feeling right now, or the situation. You don't have to figure everything out as it happens, right? So I think it's, you know, it's a good idea to put a pin into it until you can let go of some of the emotions. And then, you know, when you're feeling more settled, when you can look back on this more clearly, you know, rationally, logically, and then, you know, that's when we can really start to do more of the excavating, coming back, looking at the root source, looking at kind of these secondary reactions and symptoms, and then figuring out where we go about it from there. Okay. Now I also see this beautiful flower. It reminds me of a tulip. We have lots of tulips out, the early spring flowers. I honestly feel like the heroes of our neighborhoods, here on the tundra where it's cold and snowy 6 months of the year, are those folks that have the beautiful tulip and what are they called? Buttercups, I think, or I think. Yeah, anyways, the tulips for sure. And they have those planted and they come up so early in our spring. I know in other parts of the world and country, in America, people have had flowers coming up for months. For us, it's only been a few weeks. So they're really my heroes because it is so nice to take a walk down the street, look, you know, out of the car while we're driving by and seeing all these beautiful flowers coming up. And I feel like that sentiment pertains to you as well. I think that you really are just like a bright, beautiful light in people's lives. If you know that or not, you are somebody that people may not say all the time, you know, like, I really appreciate you. Your energy really changes the atmosphere of this place, maybe your workplace, maybe your family, maybe, you know, among your friends group, whatever it is. I think that you just really have such a calming, pleasing, humorous, clever, enjoyable spirit. And so I think that really kind of shines through here as I'm looking at these formations. And I'm really leaning over here. This cat is literally sitting on my shoulder, trying to cuddle with me while I'm doing my reading. She's very silly. Okay, let's see. We don't have a lot today. I see a little piece of candy right here. Will you stop? Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. I have a little piece of candy right here. I almost feel like, it almost seems like a piece of taffy. Like I get this impression, something about like maybe when you were a kid, it was like a special treat for you. You really enjoy taffy, like saltwater taffy. it just, I don't know. I kind of had this like, this visual in my mind of like one of those crystal candy dishes, you know, and like with a little stack of saltwater taffy in there. And that's interesting. I mean, it seems very calming and nostalgic. So if you did grow up eating taffy, or if you eat taffy now, I'd like to know, what flavors did you like? What flavors do you like? What are your favorites? The ones that come to mind for me are definitely I like the pistachio ones and the banana. Those are always my favorite. I haven't had taffy in a long time though. Okay, let's see. We have an owl right here. And so this makes me feel like you have somebody really watching over you. And I wonder if this has to do with all of the sevens. Was there somebody in your life that has passed that their lucky number was 7? It just feels like it's like they're like saying it over, you know, almost like a little kid would do, just repeating themselves until they make sure and know that you hear them. You know that they're the ones saying it. Okay, and then this ties right into it too. We have a branch, okay, and we have a cardinal. And the cardinal, to me, whenever you see a cardinal, that means somebody who has passed that you loved, who loved you. They're there visiting, and it feels like you have somebody definitely telling you that they love you and they're here for you. And I think that has to do with the fact that you just have been kind of upset about this thing that's happened. It's been hard. It brought up a lot of stuff. And so I think this cardinal, this person from your life is almost, maybe it's like a grandmother, or your mom, maybe. But somebody just telling you, I love you, I'm here for you, you know, you're safe. I'm gonna make sure nobody does anything wrong. Okay, let's see. So we have 2 little birds kind of flying together. I feel like you are in a good match with somebody. If you're married, I think it's a happy marriage. I don't know if it's your first though. Or maybe you've been married for a long time and you've gone through like these different eras. It's like, you know, you get to a certain point where you kind of have to decide again, you know, almost kind of decide to remarry one another because you've changed over the years. And I'm very much of the mind though too that we have to decide every day, you know, not in a big like, are we gonna leave each other today or maybe tomorrow or whatever, but I think it's important to really look at your partner and think, yeah, today I'm choosing definitely that we're gonna be together, you know. If not every year. I've heard of people deciding to, you know, every year they kind of go over their relationship and decide. I don't know though. I mean, that would be difficult because I'm pretty moody. I have to give myself quite a while to, you know, to really know what's going on with me. But usually it's every day. Yes. So I feel like you know, you're well matched. And if this is a newer thing, I think it's very exciting. I think there's such an ease of just feeling like this is your person. You know how to talk to each other. You know what each other likes. A lot of things don't need to even be said. You just feel like you're really working together towards something. You show up for each other. And you really can trust this person. I feel like the reason I think like maybe you or this wasn't your first like marriage or serious relationship is I feel like there's something where you were with somebody who was very misaligned, maybe very selfish, narcissistic, whatever it was. They just did their own thing. They did not help you. It was not an easy relationship. But this one is like night and day. Let's see. Yeah, I don't... There goes TT. She's saying, put me to bed, mama. She has her own bed routine, just like my daughter does. So I just see this really, I feel like you're going to get through this thing that's going on, and it'll feel like it never even happened to some degree. I think that in a few weeks you'll really forget all of this, but I think that, like I talked about, revisiting some of the deeper, the deeper roots of this feeling at some point might really be a good idea. I often advocate in my readings for you going to therapy, counseling, seeking support through, support groups, or maybe like online forums where people can relate to kind of some of the issues, which there are a lot if you know where to look. I always kind of bring up Reddit just because it's a little more anonymous. You can, you have to be careful too, but keep your account with little details and make sure your screen name doesn't match all your other screen names and that kind of thing. But you can be way more anonymous there in these kinds of groups. If it's, grief groups, or I'm in like mom kind of groups. What did you find? And so there's all kinds of things, so maybe something like that, just to kind of help assist you in the work that you're doing. And I'm so sorry. I don't know what she found, but she's rolling it around. So I think that's really the reading tonight. And I want to thank you so much for allowing me to bring these messages to you. It's always such an honor. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps me get in the algorithm. It's helping all of us collectively build the channel. I feel like we're starting to get somewhat of a community going here, and every single subscriber counts. And if you haven't subscribed, please think about doing so. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. I read for each sign once a week. So in the meantime, between now and 7 days from now, you can watch your other placements. Solar, lunar, ascendant / rising, Venus. I know there's a lot of cross watchers. If you don't know what that is, I just learned not that long ago, even like after I started making these videos, like, what does that mean, cross watching? So that's when you watch the readings of your like loved ones, your kids, or your spouse, or like your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is. You watch their placements to find out kind of what's going on in their life too. So I think that's really cool and interesting. And so you can go ahead and do that as well. Other than that, leave a comment. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know what's going on with you. Let me know what kind of taffy you love. And also, I'm interested if you play card games. And if you do, what do you like to play? All right. I want to thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a most wonderful, wonderful week.